Stay a while. So, Terry Clarke Memorial Trophy was conceived by our quartet contest committee, and we wanted to honor one of our most beloved barbershoppers in our history who had passed away recently, 5 years ago. So we decided to, ask for donations to raise some money to do our concept, and it was going to cost about $12,000 or $15,000. And we decided to have a 2-month fundraiser that would start on May the 1st and would end on July the 1st. And we raised almost $21,000. So more money than we needed. We spent the extra on medals and other prizes, for the contest. And so we think Terry would be proud. Anyway, we engaged one of our contest committee members, Scott Brannon from the Cincinnati Kids, to put together a speech, because Scott sang lead with Terry in a quartet called Our Town for about the last 10 years of his life. And then Scott submitted his speech and looked real good, and then he called a couple days ago, had some kind of emergency and couldn't make the trip. So we've asked his quartet brother, George Gipp from Cincinnati Kids, to deliver Scott's speech. Let's hear a big round of applause for George.
Woo, Georgie!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you could only imagine what it's like to be up here on this stage, this mic, on this very special day, it's not only thrilling, but it's gratifying. And, as Ken said, Scott Brannon was going to preside over this ceremony today, but he had to cancel the trip. And, our thoughts and prayers are with Scott, due to that emergency. But, as a committee and that, we looked around, we searched high and we searched low for somebody that would be worthy to be able to do such a great job for this occasion. And if you can believe it or not, none of those guys were available at all. Not one. So here I am, baby. My name is George Gipp. Now first, let me say that we in the SPP are ever so grateful to the Clarke family and to the surviving members of the Boston Common, who all gave their blessings and their support to this endeavor. Now, it is my humblest and true pleasure to deliver Scott Brannon's heartfelt words. Fellow barbershoppers, thank you for this opportunity to celebrate a man who was a friend to all of us with this unveiling. The Terry Clarke Memorial Trophy will be the traveling trophy to be presented each year to our new worldwide barbershop quartet champion. Beautifully designed and created by artist Paula Slater and funded by the contributions from dozens of barbershoppers, the trophy will pay tribute to a man who exemplified the attitude and the philosophy to bring our new society an ever-growing barbershop quartet society, Terry Clarke. I first met Terry in 1977 when I was only 19 years old. He was the bass of the most popular quartet in the world, the Boston Common, and I was a huge fan. Over the years, I went from being a fan to being a friend, and eventually to singing in another quartet with Terry for 10 years called Our Town. One of my fondest memories, which shows a side of him that some may never have seen and maybe have missed. It came into the Quartetorium at the 1978 International Convention in Cincinnati, Ohio. I had a brand new quartet, the Cincinnati Kids, about to sing their first performance in front of a room full of barbershoppers when the Boston Common walked in. As you probably know, that protocol in the rooms at an international on a Saturday night was that the top quartets take precedence and get to sing pretty much as soon as they get into the room. Terry, understanding that if the Boston Common sang before we did, the entire room would clear out as soon as we were ready to try and sing. Plus, we would have to follow the Boston Commons. Well, I went to the guy running the room, and Terry asked him to let us sing first. What a lovely gesture. One I will never forget. The philosophy that guided Terry in his barbershopping life was that the song is more important than the singer, and that if you are not bringing something unique and valuable to the art form, you're just taking up space. He had strong feelings on the subject of judges coaching, which he felt was corrupt, not just because he didn't think a judge could be objective about a group that he had coached, but because it created a closed circle without a lot of room for uniqueness and creativity. If you didn't know Terry Clarke, it was possible he could rub you the wrong way. If he was busting your chops, it meant one of two things. One, he either liked you, or two, he thought you took yourself too seriously, much too seriously. Nobody could picture a pompous person's balloon or puncture it like Terry could. If you knew him, you soon learned that he was a softie who cried at the drop of a hat, who loved singing four-part harmony as much as anyone, anywhere, and who laughed louder than anyone you've ever heard. He actually got thrown out of a theater once for laughing too loudly at the producers. My Terry, just an interjection. Terry's reverence for the music and irreverence for the system are some things we would do well to emulate. He was my friend and a mentor and one of my barbershop heroes. It is my pleasure and my honor to unveil your Terry Clarke Memorial Trophy.
Jimmy Clan, come on. Somebody brought me a G. Jimmy's going to lead us in a song made famous by the Boston Commons. And he forgot, evidently, he was supposed to do this, but it's okay, because I know he knows the song. Come on up here, man. Anyway, blow a G, and it starts out, la la, sitting by the fireside.
Thank you, Kenny. I don't do this very often, but let's let it go, okay? Sitting by the fireside, watching embers softly glow, I put my daily cares aside and think of friends I used to know.
concludes our unveiling ceremony. I suspect that there will be some of you who will want to come up and take pictures. So, feel free to do that, but just don't crowd each other, and let's not knock it over or anything. Be careful. But come on up and do your thing. If you want to get some pictures with Terry, I'm sure he would not have minded. All right. Thanks so much.